Hello, my name is Carlos, and this is Wahoo number 3. Today we're going to talk about observability. I have here two guests, and I want they introduce themselves to you.
Okay, cool. Can you hear me? Okay,
Yes.
great. Great. My name is Ignacio van Drogenbroek. I'm the co-founder and CTO of Metrics. Basically, I am Argentinian, but living in Uruguay. I moved here like 6 years ago or something like that. So yeah, I am living here, part of South America. So yeah, nice to meet you, and yeah, great to thank you for having us in this call.
Okay,
Cool.
Sure.
Hey, Carlos. My name is Sherman Arrutia. I am the CEO and co-founder of Voltmetrics. Super excited to chat with you today. I'm based in the San Francisco Bay Area. And yeah, looking forward to a good conversation with you, a little bit about observability, and just getting to know each other a bit more. So thanks, Carlos, for having us on.
Okay, so let's start. Let's go to the point. What is your observability, and why is it so important to us?
No, that is a great question, right? So when we talk about observability, the first things that we think is monitoring, right? But observability is more than only monitoring and see the health of my servers, how the CPU or memory are performing, right? Observability is a practice that covers several things, right? One is monitoring, yes. The other is collecting logs. What is that? Okay. I don't know. Looks like that I.
Thumbs up, thumbs up.
Yeah,
Carlos,
yeah.
with you, Ignacio.
Okay. So inside of the observability practice, you have a few things, right? First is monitoring. The other is logs, right? The other is the APM of how you monitor your application and your network, right? It's not like it's not only okay. I have a practice of observability if I only monitor the CPU of memory of my server. What about the other metrics of your application, right? What is your strategy around APM? What is your strategy around collecting and analyzing logs, right? So it's not only CPU and this and typical information, right? That we take in the monitoring part, but also is how we see or how we control or how we monitor all infrastructure and application, but as a whole, right? So and that's important because as a whole, we have this, or you need to have this view, right? It's not only what CPU or memory is important. It's like, okay, how your application is performing, because maybe your application is not consuming CPU, but anyway is slow because some component is bad designed or is bad performing, right? Or you have something in the logs that maybe it's not triggering CPU or memory consumption, but you have something in the logs that allows you to understand why the performance of your application is so bad, right? So it's a combination, right, of practice and tool, and that makes observability. That makes sense?
Oh, yes, good. And for you, Chairman?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, obviously when you think of observability, right, you think of like the three pillars of observability, right? So it's always logs, metrics, traces, right? And I think it's important, right, to answer the question, right? Can you understand what's happening inside your code, inside your systems, right? Can you answer new questions, right, that maybe you weren't prepared for, and I think if you, maybe take, maybe just unlike monitoring, right? Observability, it's going to allow you, to ask new questions, find new answers, right? Things that you weren't prepared for, right? So kind of more of that broader view versus just the monitor.
Okay, and what the things can we do to start our observability journey, in your opinion?
Well, yeah, that is a good one, right? Because the typical starting point is, okay, let's go and monitoring our network devices, right, and monitoring our servers, right? That is a good starting point, right? So, okay, I am taking a picture every minute or every 10 seconds or whatever it is the period that you want to collect information, and then and I think that is a good starting point, right? But as soon you have that ongoing, you need to start to collect other metrics, as Sherman says, traces, understand the performance of your applications, right? But the typical journey starts with the monitoring. That is the easy part, for saying in a way. Then the logs, and then start to go into your applications and your, the performance of your application, and trying to measure the user experience, so you can have a whole idea of the practice, right? But I think that monitoring is the easy part. It's something that somebody with an InfluxDB or TimescaleDB, a Telegraph that is a nation, or whatever you are using to collect information, it's easy to start, right?
Chairman.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'd give you my response maybe from more of the business side. A great way to start is by checking out the Voltmetrics platform. I think that, there's a lot of tools out there, right? Ignacio has shared, the InfluxDBs, right? The telegraphs, the timescales, right? And one of the things that, we want to do with our platform, right? And kind of how we look at the platform is we want to be, the open source toolbox, right? We want to give you access to all of these tools and then really kind of think down our business in two ways, right? One, we give you access and you can, use all these tools and build, whatever solution you need with these tools. Or two, maybe more in what we're seeing more and more with customers is, maybe having a prepackaged solution within the platform that gives you, right, maybe the observability solution. Like maybe we take, 3-4 of those tools and we put that together for you, and more of like a done for you kind of model, right? So for us, what we aim to do is understand kind of where you are on your journey, right? And then try to tailor, kind of our approach, right? And the partnership we look to form with you based on that.
Good. I think the user experience, it's a challenge. It's not a common way to get this metric. How can we get the metrics of the user experience to improve our applications and give more value to our customers?
Let me see if I understand correctly the question, right? So it's important to start to measuring, and trying to get that information of, okay, how our customers are interacting with our application, right? We have you have a tool of a bunch of tools there. One of that we use, right, and it's Microsoft Clarity, right? I don't know if you know, but Microsoft Clarity, what is that? It's creating heat maps, understand how is the experience of the users in a web page, right? It's trying to understand, okay, how much time is spending in a specific page or in specific documentation or something like that, right? And allows us to understand, okay, what is the load time, right? What is the experience? What is the part that is most important for the customer, for the user, and what is not, right? So that has allowed us to understand and move forward, but basic with that information, right? Microsoft Clarity, for example, is a tool that is free to use, and that is a great starting point to start to measuring how your customer or how the users are using your application, your web page, right? In our case, we are using it in a React application, right? That is a front-end kind of application, and everybody is using JavaScript or React to develop their front end right now, right? Also in these days. So basically, I think that is a great starting point and trying to understand. Okay, yeah, my web page is slow, or this application is slow, or whatever. It's like, but why and how, and try to understand how our customers or users are feeling with that. So yeah. I think that point is a great starting point.
Good. But I'm talking more about like the SRE view, the Google SRE view, as they talk about the happiness and freshness, and how can we make a strategy to get this? Okay, just make questions to our customers, give these buttons if he likes or not. This is a good strategy to get these metrics, or do you think it's useful?
Did you say asking to the users or something?
Yes, literally ask the users.
Yeah. No.
I don't know. That's just a question. I'm curious if it's a good strategy. Okay.
Yeah, asking questions is a very good strategy. The issue with that one is like when you have thousands of users every day visiting or using your application, is kind of that doesn't scale, right? So it's like you can call 1,000 person every day to ask if the service or the application is working or not for them, right? And also, it's important to have some metrics inside of specific parameters, because for somebody, maybe, I don't know, 15 or 50 milliseconds is enough. For other persons, no, right? And and I am thinking the case of Spotify, right? Spotify, when he developed Spotify, they say, okay, I want a song starting before 250 milliseconds, right? Because that is the sense of the human that thinks that is instant, right? So yeah. So yeah, basically that. We lost Sherman.
Let's share, but let's go. I think
Yeah,
he
yeah.
is gonna back.
So yeah, okay. So yeah, basically that. Asking that is a very good strategy when you have very small amounts of users and or customers, but also having tools that allows you to recollect in a more industrial way for saying something, right? That information and understand how they work.
Okay, what's your opinion, Sherman, about that?
Yeah, no, I'm curious to hear maybe from you, Carlos, what you think are the shortcomings today around maybe user experience, right? I mean, I think these practices, right, they're going to allow organizations to, to monitor, manage, and optimize, right, for user expectations, right, and right, we're looking at, response times, latencies, error rates, all these things. But where are the shortcomings today, Carlos? Like, what are you seeing on your side?
I think that's a good strategy if you have this simple kinds of a way to get the metrics, like these buttons of I like that, I did like that. I think it's good because even if you get a good metrics in your monitoring or observability or APM, etc. In fact, we can't know if our customers or our users are happy. Okay, if people are happy in using our application, I think that's the point that we have to. That's the goal, the real goal to us. Okay, and I think that's a good strategy. That's my point of view.
Got it. So capturing someone's like immediate feedback
Yes.
on just very simple, thumbs up, thumbs down. Like
Yes, okay.
we
Yes,
see it at the
yes.
airport. How did we do today? And it's a happy face or a sad face, right? So kind
Yes,
of that.
yes.
Okay, I got it.
And what is the value of observability to our organizations, in your opinion?
Well, the value, in my opinion, is like, yeah, this possibility of seeing everything, right? Since the infrastructure that is running your applications to the application itself, and having a whole view of, okay, how everything is performing, right? So we are talking that when some application is slow, and think on yourself, Carlos, is a web page is loading, you find something that is interesting in Google, right? And you click in that link, and then it's taking like 5 seconds to start to load, right? Exactly, right? So and you leave. On my case, I immediately left that site, right, or that application, right? It's the same, right? So I think that I think that the value is understand how your business can move forward, right? Monitoring everything, right? It's not like a server is down. No, it's a server that is processing payment, right? And I had that experience in the past in other shops, right? When the server is down, we can process payment for an entire country, right? So it's not a small thing, right? You're losing money. In fact, when the application is slow, you are, and that is an e-commerce, you are losing sales, right? So it's like, and at the end of the day, what it's not like, oh, my application is slow. That is a shame. No, you are losing business. You are leaving money on the table because you don't have or you don't think that is important, having a whole view of your infrastructure and applications, right? So
And for Sherman.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think when I think of like the value to the business, right? Observability, right? Obviously, we talked about, improved, user experience, right? But we're also looking at, quite a few other things, right? I think, what's important, right, to the business, reduce downtime and costs, right? Enhance decision making, right? Optimize performance scalability, right? Quick incident response, sometimes you have, compliance security, right? But really just, continuous improvement and going back to the customers, right? What I think is really important is that kind of customer trust and loyalty, right? Like, I think right now that's that you have to build trust with your customers, right? Satisfied customers are likely to remain loyal to you and recommend products and services to others, right? So it's, I think there's quite a bit there that, it's adding value to the business.
Good. And how can we make the case of observability to our entire organization? How can we make that?
Okay, yeah, that's a great question, right? Because it's going to, okay, where to start, right? And mostly in my case, basically thinking on experience in the past, is like, okay, let's run a POC, right? Let's run a small POC with one of our products, one of our applications, to understand how it's performing and see if we are seeing something that is valuable to us, right? Right now, maybe it's not, you are blind, right? You don't get, or you don't have metrics around your application or your infrastructure, right? Okay, let's start to do a POC. Let's run a proof of concept inside of the company, right? To understand, okay, what you are missing, what is missing from the, from the postlet, to understand how everything is going, right? And I think that when you start with this practice, or when you start this kind of stuff from the inside of the company, yeah, it's running a small POC, baby steps, right? Sometimes the change, as you may know, can difficult. It's like, no, we don't need to measure that. Yeah, you need to measure that. It's like we are in a world that we have vendors that do the same thing that you do, a lot of them, right? You have a ton of customers that they want immediately things. If you are slow, or the application is not working, it's like you have ton of other applications that they are doing the same, right? So it's like, yeah, you need to know, you need to understand how your users and how the company as whole is performing in terms of infrastructure and application. But answering your original question is like, yeah, running a small POC to understand and to start to get that information and put a value to that information. I think that is a good method.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I agree a lot with Ignacio there, and what he shared. I would say, making the case for observability, right, to an entire organization. I think what's really important, right, is that it requires, kind of a very clear and compelling argument to demonstrate how observability benefits, different departments, different teams, right, and I think then how all of that is going to tie back, right, to the overall success of the business, right? And so you have to make that case, right? And maybe more to what Ignacio was saying is, you have to understand the audience, right? Who are the different stakeholders, who are the people that you're talking to, right? And then there's a lot of like, hey, you have to educate yourself, right? Obviously having a deep understanding of observability, but really how does that align with the organization's goals, right? And what are maybe industry best practices, right? And then it's all the good stuff, right? What are the pain points? Are we aligned, right? Did we develop a good business case here, right? Have we highlighted, really good use cases, right? Have we, maybe quantified, right, the ROI there, right? But I think there's a lot there that I think Ignacio covered. But I think making the case for observability to the entire organization, right? It definitely requires a strategic, maybe inclusive approach, right? But I think if you can align it with organization goals and benefits, across various departments, then yeah, I think that you'll have the support that you need, at least for successful implementation.
What's the power of the managed observability?
That's a great one, right? So in terms of management, the managed is like, think on the case that ton of people, ton of companies are small companies, right? For example, from Bold Metrics, we aim to the mid-market small companies that maybe they don't have an IT department or a department that is thinking of are focusing on observability or other analytics, right? So basically, the power of that is like that you can have tools that use the big enterprise, and you can compete with the big enterprise, right? In terms of having the tools to do the same that they do the big companies, right? And start to get in those market where the mid-market company or the small business, but that they cannot enter because, okay, this is too much for me or whatever, right? So the power of having that managed and hosted is like, okay, you can focus on your business and grow your business when you have the tools, that is the first line tools, enterprise tools, that, and you have other persons, other people, another company that is managed and hosting that for you. And you can take care of your business, of your department, or whatever it is that you want to take care, right? But it's like, okay, this is the chance of having, okay, enterprise tools hosted and managed. So I don't need to buy a license. I don't need to buy servers. I don't need to hire people to deploy and maintain and try to understand how that everything works and how that can be beneficial for my business. Okay, you have the chance to do it or delegate that in people that have experience and have expertise in this. And I think that is the main value of having that hosted and managed. It's like, okay, you don't know about monitoring your application. It's like let's ask to funders, small business or mid-market funders, is they know how to measure the performance of their application, right? Their Google application that they deliver and they are deploying on the phone and trying to do business with that. It's like probably don't, right? So I think that that is a good opportunity to having, as I say, enterprise tool, right? Hosted and managed by people that know about it, right? And you can focus on your development or your business in general.
Sure.
Yeah, Carlos, I think this is a really good question, right? Probably my favorite question that you've asked yet. But, I mean, when you think about managed observability, right, we're talking about, outsourcing the management of your observability tools, right, to a third party, right? And I think the power, of a managed observability, right, it's really the ability to, you think of like streamlining and enhancing, the organization's monitoring, and their observability capabilities, but really allowing the business to do and focus on their core business, right? And what happens, when you work with a third-party provider? Well, you get, like Ignacio was saying, right, the expertise and specialization, right? So you have providers that have dedicated teams of experts, with all the knowledge, all the tools, all the best practices, right? And they kind of bring that to you instantly, right? Then you think of like it from the view of, time and resource savings, right? So that in itself is a huge cost that, you're freeing up time, you're freeing up resource for maybe other strategic projects, right? You think of how now you have maybe this ability for rapid deployment, right? These managed things, right? They come with configured, pre-configured setups, integrations, right? So everything is a lot faster to get done. It reduces maybe the learning curve, right? That's associated with implementing some of these observability tools in-house, right? Obviously, you have, the, scalability, which now becomes, you can adapt, you can increase, right? Kind of as your workloads change, as your demands change, you can scale up quickly, right? It comes with support, which, I think is super important. One of the things that, Voltmetrics that we think is super important, and maybe it's really just a function of kind of where we are on our journey, is, we provide 24/7 support. We want to be there when you have a problem. We want to be there to answer your questions, right? We're, kind of that round the clock support, where you can call us, you can physically call Ignacio, right? You can send us an email. We can set up a Google Meet or a Zoom call and, talk through things, right? I think that's huge, right? Then you have, cost predictability, right? We want to make sure that our customers understand, what this is going to cost you, right? I think today, especially in today's economy, right, what we're trying to do is give customers more of this predictability, right? So that there's less unexpected expenses, right? At least, relating to maintaining and upgrading an in-house, maybe observability infrastructure, right? And there's a lot, right? I mean, for us, right, as kind of an open source platform, right, we think it's important, and a lot of our customers say, right, kind of that kind of vendor agnostic, right? Choose, right, from the variety of tools, right? There's a whole bunch of tools, right? There's a whole bunch of great open source tools, and so you don't be locked into one specific vendor forever and feel like you can't do anything, right? But for me, right, the power of managed observability definitely lies in its, in the ability to simplify, right, observability, right, kind of to improve system reliability, enhance security, right, and really to leverage the expertise of dedicated professionals, right? So I think what a great question. Thanks for asking that one, Carlos.
Nice. What point do you think we forgot to talk today about observability?
I think you covered, I think some really good points here, man. I'd be curious to hear, your take, or maybe a little bit more about you, Carlos. Like today, how are you working with, or what's your stack today, or maybe tell us a bit more about how you look at observability.
I get more a cloud native view about that. I like to use cloud native solution. I like more to work with Grafana stack. I like Lockit for logs and Prometheus and Grafana, etc. I'm working in that space. Okay, I like to work like that. I was curious to hear about you about the managed observability and your experience. That's for my part. So
cool. Yeah, we love Grafana, so awesome.
Awesome. In my episodes, I always ask to my guests about what they are watching or seeing or reading or book reading, and I want to know about you. What do you actually reading or watching, like series, movies, or books, etc.? Feel free to talk about that. So Ignacio, you can start.
Yeah, no, that is a good one. Now I bought like a set of Harvard Business Review books about leadership and management and how to deal with people, and how to work with people, right? It's like more kind of I don't remember exactly the name now, but it's more related with people, right? So it's like at the end of the day, with everybody is people. Is like talking about technology, right? And yeah, sometimes we lost that key that we are talking with people and not companies, right? It's like you are not screaming to Grafana, you are screaming to Carlos, right? That is a person, right? Or you're not screaming to InfluxDB, you are screaming to whatever it is the person that you are talking, right? So and I think that not so much from the technological side. I like to read documentation, but I am not the person that buys buy about a book around SQL Server or whatever. Or that if you see my libraries, I don't have any books around any technology, right? It's like I think that the books gets older very quickly because we are advancing at a certain speed that it's like in a month that book that I just bought is like it's going to get older, right? So yeah, in terms of reading, I am reading that set of book that I bought. It's small books. Series, I am seeing one or another, but I don't have any favorite now. I then to see Succession, that was very good, but yeah, I don't think that I am seeing any other one. I think that I am seeing Billions. Billions is a pretty good show. So yeah. It is. But yeah, not too much. I am the person that I like to play video games. So I have a team of Valorant. I don't know if you know that game. It's a Riot game. So we are playing a tournament every Thursday. So yeah, my focus in terms of outside of the world is there.
Nice. I'm a fighting games guy. I like to play Street Fighter. So Sherman, cool. Sherman, it's your turn.
Yeah, no, I mean, super busy. I have two boys. So they, one's in high school, he's 14, one's in third grade, he's 8. I coach their soccer team, or I coach my 8-year-old soccer team. Right. And so real busy with practice, with sports, with, just raising two boys. Recently, I started reading a lot about Stoicism, right? I picked up a book called The Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, right? So he was maybe the most powerful and strongest Stoics ever, right? Stoicism is a really interesting topic, right? It's really about having an unbreakable or unshakable mind, right? I think as being a startup founder, you run into a ton of, problems and like issues and, ups and downs and sideways, and it's a journey, right? So I think for me, it's been super helpful in understanding, maybe what, is like, you call it the universe, right? And the universe has its flow, right? And I would say that the universe or God or however you look at it, right, that it is perfect, right, in its way. And all we can do if we can't control the universe is accept and control our reaction to what happens to us, right? So, I think it's been pretty good kind of reading through some of that. In terms of TV, I don't watch a whole lot of TV, but I think maybe the last series that I was watching, and this is going to be maybe pretty funny, is Yellowstone, right? It's like a very like cowboy show, but it was really good.
Nice.
I was kind of, I didn't want to start watching it, and then I got into it, and I don't know if you've seen like the memes or the videos, but you start one way, and by season 3 and 4, you're wearing a cowboy hat and you're wearing boots, and it's so funny, man. But it was a good series. It was a good show.
Okay, it's time to say goodbye. Please make your last statement, please. Ignacio, please.
Yeah, no. Thank you for having us. We're very happy to talk to you and out to you. I'm going to follow you on your channel now. It's like, give me the data and I'm going to do it. I used to do videos for YouTube in 2009, 2010 or something like that. So I think that the channel is still there. But yeah, it's like 15, 16 subscribers or something like that. It's like for years I haven't uploaded anything there. Thank you so much for inviting us. Yeah. And if you're hearing this and you're watching this video and you have more doubts, or you want to see more about what we do in Voltmetrics, chime in, shoot a message, and we're going to be happy of having a call with you to only chat about observability, analytics, or whatever, right? So to you, Carlos, thank you so much for this invitation.
Yes, Carlos, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I know that we took a little bit of time to get this scheduled, but I appreciate being on the call. It was fun. To any of your listeners, anyone that's kind of tuning in at any point, if you have any questions about observability, maybe about something that I've said that was wrong or you don't agree with, please feel free to email us or connect with us on LinkedIn. We love chatting about these things, right? If you're curious about Voltmetrics, check us out. We're voltmetrics.com. But more than anything, we'd love to connect with people, right? For us, it's really about our network and kind of just being out there. And our goal really is to be at more and more events in the coming year, right? I mean, that's one of the things that we just want to be at, to where our customers are, where users are, where people are, where conversations are happening. So hopefully Carlos, you and I will get to meet in person at an event. And thank you again. Really appreciate this chat.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Ignacio. Thank you, Sherman. Sherman's a long time friend and at CNCF. And this year we can't meet at the KubeCon because I have a little emergency here, but we will go to meet soon. And absolutely. I'm very happy to get you to here. And let's go. Let's say goodbye to the audience. Bye.
Bye, guys. Take care.
Bye.